On the road sports night, and we're at Firethorn Country Club south of Charlotte for the annual Carolinas NFL Alumni Charity Golf Tournament. And it's a chance for all of us to get together and chat with some of the great names, great players in the history of the National Football League. One of those played for the Houston Oilers from 1968 to 1983. One of the great sack masters, if they would have kept stats back then. Who knows where this guy would be? Elvin Bethea. Elvin, nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So when you see the sack numbers posted all the time, you're thinking, come on.
What is that George Bush said? They're what kind of numbers they call them?
Fuzzy math?
Fuzzy math. No, those years, back then that was a key. If you were the sack king, and my idol was Deacon Jones, and I always wanted to be like Deacon. I wanted to be the guy that had the sacks, but it never had. We got them, but we don't. No one ever kept a record of them, so I have no idea.
You played on some interesting Houston teams over the years. There were some down times, but then there were. Man, you think about your games with the Steelers. You guys hooked up twice a year. When they got to be a good team, you were a very good football team. You could never seem to get by those guys when it came playoff time. But you talk about great rivalries in the NFL. That Houston-Pittsburgh series was something else.
That one was one of the best. They always talked about the black and blue division with Green Bay and the Vikings and everyone in that division. And I said they haven't come over to see our division. We have Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh and Houston, and we made a name for ourselves back then. I think because we every year everybody would always say the road to the Super Bowl is through Pittsburgh, and it just happened to be that they're in the same conference, so we didn't play each other in NFC against AFC. So, and one year I think the last 78, 79, Bradshaw said, you know what? We played them before they went to the Super Bowl, and they were 79, and he said Super Bowl was played last week. So that's it gave some thrill to us that we were noticed out there, that we were a team to be reckoned with.
And the whole "Love You Blue" thing that went on in Houston, that had to be special, because when you go through tough times and fans are kind of disgruntled, to have that type of emotion for your football team had to be something special.
That was very special because I'd gone through some times with Sid Gilman and Bill Peterson back in the 74, 75, before Bum came aboard, and we'd gone through Bill Peterson. I think it was 1973. How about a 1-13? And we thought we could top that. We went back the next year and came back a 1-13, 2 years in a row, and you thought that the world would end. But it was one of those things that Bum came in, Sid Gilman retired, Bum came in, took over in 75, 76. You could see he would start putting the pieces together in 77 and 78 when Earl was a missing piece. Earl Campbell was a missing piece to that puzzle. And when he came in, everything turned around for us off to the playoffs.
Can a coach make that big of a difference? Were some of the pieces in place before he got there? What was it about his style and his way of doing things that all of a sudden turned you guys into winners?
I think Bum's philosophy was always easygoing, laid back. He'd have those corny things. Training camp, he'd bring in on a Thursday after a tough 4 days, he'd bring in a country and western band. We'd drink beer. Just come around. We'd have beer party, a pizza party. And he would do things different. He would always come up with something that nobody expected, and he knew he had good players, but he wanted to make sure they all mixed together, and he would have these little functions that brought people together. And we thought, you look at it, looking back, you said he was doing something that no one else thought of, and molding that team together in those years. And he finally, in 70, 78, we finally got there, and I always said we had character, a lot of character. We had character and characters. And Bum knew how to push the secret. I think he knew each individual player and what button to push on that guy. And that was amazing. I sat back and watched that, and he wanted the older guys to be the ones that carried the torch and everybody looked up to, and that was his secret of success.
I saw a piece on Earl Campbell recently on HBO, and there's a lot of talk now about the guys who played in your day and before, and the benefits they aren't getting. And but Earl didn't seem like he said, "Hey, I know I played and I played hurt and I'm paying a price. I don't want anything from anybody." But it's tough to see that, isn't it? You talk to
I saw the same thing, and the way he came across, I've said, hey, these people used us like cattle, and that's where we felt we were when we did that name tag. The name tag could be torn off, and put another name tag the same day that they tore it off, and they'll put another player out there. And it's not that they're going to give us something. We earned everything we received, and what we didn't receive. I mean, I started at $15,000, and you'd better have a job during the off season. You'd better have a job. I mean, you couldn't survive. And I had a job, and which helped me prepare for when I left the game, and it worked out for me. And I think that, and it has helped me for actually working during off season. But the owners, I fought the owners for 11 years. I was a player rep for 11 years, and for 5 years I was on the board. And the owners back then, I mean, they were ruthless. I mean, right now they're all sleeping in bed together, telling each other, "You turn the light off." No, you turn the light off. And we all get in the bed together. But now, back then, they hated us with a passion. And I was one of those that fought every year for the increase in benefits, the increase in players' salary, the right for free movement, and also the pre-59 players. That's what I was fighting for. All of that came forward, and guess who benefits? The kids that are there now.
right.
They can tell tell the coach or tell the team where they want to go. They can move freely, and this is what we had the old shirt on. Don't know if you remember. There had a fist on it. No freedom, no football, and four strikes that we had with the owners. And these guys, they were ruthless. And now these guys, the players are now getting 60% of the gross. Back then, we were just we'd settle for 20% of the gross. But they say, "Oh, we're poor. We would sell if you're poor, sell the team."
Yeah, right. They're not poor,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Yeah. What did it mean? You got your Hall of Fame shirt on. What does that mean to you?
That's the end of my history, my era, my everything that I worked for during the season, during the off season. 16 years of 12 operations, and all of it comes down to this. And I didn't get it until 2003, 20 years to that year that I was inducted. And it means everything. That it shows that I sacrificed. I did everything by the book, and kept nose clean, and I just went through everything and fought for other players. And for this, I feel this is my reward, and you can't get any higher. And I have people ask me, "Well, what is the ring for?" And they notice that. I said, "Is that a high school ring?" I said, "No, it's a little better." "Oh, Super Bowl?" "No, it's a lot better than Super Bowl." I said, "This is individual." And that's what it's meant. I said, everybody on the Super Bowl team, plus the trainer and the yard guy, and gets a ring. I said, in my case, this is what it was all about. This is that emblem. It means that you. When I got the call, I was John Bankert, who was doing the calling at the time. He said, "Elvin, you are now the 181st player to be inducted into the Hall of Fame," and I almost just melted. That's when that it just cut through you, and that knew that at that time you made the big one. So you can't get cut, can't get traded. so
You're in for life.
In for life.
And after that, too.
Yes, I go back to the hall and visit my bus and see that I'm still there.
Well, great seeing you. I hope you enjoy the Charlotte area while you're here. Living in Houston now still?
Yes, living there, and I still love the Charlotte area. I love this whole East Coast. I went to school in Greensboro, so I still miss it. But,
well, great seeing you. Thanks for having this little conversation with us. Brought back a lot of memories. Elvin Bethea, one of the members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We will continue with more here on Sports Night on the road at Firethorn Country Club. Stay right there.